The Nagpur session of the Congress 1920, Political Science. The Nagpur session of the Congress 1920, the pivotal shift from constitutional agitation to mass non-cooperation. The Nagpur session of the Indian National Congress, held in December 1920, was not merely an annual meeting but a constitutional and strategic watershed in the history of the Indian freedom struggle. From a political science perspective, it represents the moment when the Congress formally and institutionally transformed itself from an elite-led pressure group into a mass-based revolutionary organization dedicated to the systematic overthrow of British rule through peaceful non-cooperation. This session marked the definitive ascendancy of Mahatma Gandhi as the undisputed leader of the national movement and set a new radical trajectory that would define the struggle for the next 3 decades. The political context: a nation betrayed and radicalized. The decision at Nagpur were a culmination of a series of profound political shocks that had disillusioned Indians and discredited the existing moderate approach. The post-war betrayal. The Rowlatt Act 1919, while the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms were being debated, the British government passed the repressive Rowlatt Act, which extended wartime emergency measures allowing for detention without trial. This stark contradiction, promising reform while enacting repression, convinced many that the British were acting in bad faith. The Jallianwala Bagh Massacre, April 1919. The cold-blooded massacre of hundreds of unarmed Indians in Amritsar was a traumatic national event. It exposed the brutal, violent core of the colonial state and shattered any remaining illusion of British justice or benevolence. The Hunter Commission whitewash. The British inquiry into the massacre was widely perceived as an attempt to exonerate General Dyer, further deepening anger and resentment. The Khilafat grievance. The British policy toward the defeated Ottoman Empire after World War I, particularly the dismemberment of the Ottoman Empire and the abolition of the Caliphate Khilafat, was seen by Indian Muslims as a profound religious and political betrayal. Gandhi astutely recognized the Khilafat issue as a powerful catalyst for forging Hindu-Muslim unity. He saw an alliance with the Khilafat leaders, the Ali brothers, as an opportunity to create a unified pan-Indian anti-colonial front. The failure of the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. The Government of India 1919, with its unworkable system of diarchy, was declared inadequate, unsatisfactory, and disappointing by the Congress. It was clear that the path of constitutional cooperation had yielded only a hollow and dysfunctional form of power sharing. Source integration. The political climate of betrayal is vividly captured in Bipin Chandra's India's struggle for independence. The strategic thinking behind Gandhi's alliance with the Khilafat movement is analyzed in Judith M. Brown's Gandhi's Rise to Power, Indian Politics 1915 to 1922. The key decisions: the triple transformation of the Congress. The Nagpur session ratified a series of resolutions that fundamentally altered the Congress' goal and strategy and structure. The adoption of non-cooperation, the new political strategy. The session officially endorsed Mahatma Gandhi's plan of non-cooperation with the British government. This marked the Congress' definitive break from its 35-year-old policy of prayer, petition, and protest. The program was to be progressive and involved surrender of titles and honorary offices, resignation from nominated seats in local bodies, boycott of government school, colleges, and law courts, boycott of British goods and promotion of Swadeshi, boycott of upcoming elections under the 1919 Act. Eventually, the government did not relent non-payment of taxes. The change of goal from self-government to Swaraj. The Congress constitution was amended. The party's goal was changed from the vague and moderate objective of achieving self-government by constitutional means to clear and radical goal of attaining Swaraj by all legitimate and peaceful means. Political science analysis. This was a monumental shift. Swaraj, a term popularized by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, was a more assertive and culturally resonant concept than self-government. It implied full self-rule and political sovereignty, leaving its exact constitutional form within or without the empire. Deliberately ambiguous, which allowed for a broader consensus. The organizational overhaul, forging a mass-based political machine. Perhaps the most enduring change was the complete restructuring of the Congress organization. It was transformed from a loose annual conference into a hierarchical, centralized, and disciplined political party with a presence in every village. The new structure was pyramidal, All India Congress Committee (AICC) at the apex, provincial Congress committees (PCCs) based on linguistic lines which foster deeper cultural and political penetration, district Congress committees, village, taluk, mohalla Congress committees at the base. This created a capillary-like network. It could transmit directive from the leadership down to the grassroots and mobilize the masses on an unprecedented scale. Membership was thrown open to all over the age of 21 on payment of a nominal fees for annas, making it a truly mass organization. Source integration. The text of the amended Congress Constitution is a key primary documents available in the Congress Presidential Addresses series. The organizational revolution is detailed in Gyanendra Pandey's The Ascendancy of the Congress in Uttar Pradesh 1926 to 1934, which, while focused on a region, illustrate the all India phenomena. The political science significance, a paradigm shift in anti-colonial struggle. Nagpur session engineered a paradigm shift in the nature of Indian national movement, the hegemony of Gandhian political philosophy. The session marked the definitive transfer of leadership from the moderates and extremists to Mahatma Gandhi. His unique political philosophy, combining mass mobilization with strict non-violence ahimsa and the pursuit of truth satyagraha, became the official creed of the Congress. The institutionalization of a counter-state. The reorganized Congress began to function as a proto-state or a shadow state. Its hierarchical structure mirrored a government's administrative apparatus by establishing parallel institutions, national schools, arbitration courts, and planning for known payment of taxes. It was preparing to systematically withdraw consent and cripple the colonial administration. The strategic rejection of colonial legitimacy. The boycott of councils, courts, and educational institutions was a direct assault on the legitimacy and functioning of the colonial state. It was a political strategy aimed not at reforming the system but at making it unworkable through a total withdrawal of Indian cooperation. The management of pluralism. The alliance with the Khilafat movement and the restructuring of PCCs on linguistic lines demonstrated a sophisticated understanding of India's diversity. It was a strategic effort to build a broad, inclusive coalition through one that would later prove fragile. The aftermath and enduring legacy. The decisions at Nagpur had immediate and long term consequences that reshaped South Asian history. The launch of the mass movement. The session provided the organizational engine for the non-cooperation movement 1920-22, the first truly mass-based nationwide agitation against the British Raj. The consolidation of the Congress system, the organizational model created at Nagpur remained the backbone of the Congress for decades, allowing it to dominate the political landscape for independent India. The seeds of future challenges. While the Khilafat alliance provided a short-term unity, the mixing of religious and nationalist politics also carried long-term risks, contributing to the complexities of the communal question. Source integration. The long-term impact of its organizational model is analyzed in Rajni Kothari's classic political science work, Politics in India, where he discusses the Congress system. Conclusion. The Nagpur pivot. In conclusion, the Nagpur session of the 1920 was a strategic and ideological pivot of the Indian national movement. It was here that the Congress consciously shed its identity as a loyal opposition and reconstituted itself as a revolutionary yet non-violent organization dedicated to the achievement of Swaraj by changing the goal, adopting a new strategy of non-cooperation, and building a mass-based organizational structure. The Congress under Gandhi's leadership set a new course. This course would lead to the powerful mass mobilization of the 1920s and 30s and 40s, and ultimately to the withdrawal of British in 1947. The Nagpur session therefore stand as the moment the Indian National Congress truly became a national movement. That's it for this topic. We'll meet soon with another topic following this one. Okay, let's end the session.